Welcome to the EXP Group's discussion of ACCA paper P5. Today we're going to look at a few performance evaluation models which the candidate has to know, usually by name, in order to make them recognizable and familiar. The first model we want to talk about today is the balanced scorecard. This is a great favorite among managers because it gives as the name suggests, a balanced view of the various things that have to be done correctly within a company. There are four elements to what they call perspectives in the balanced scorecard. One of them is financial. We have discussed financial measures extensively in previous discussions, and as one would expect, we would want to have ways to measure the financial success of the company so that shareholders are satisfied. Now, but that's only one of the perspectives. Another important perspective, which is actually non-financial in nature, but which is critical to achieving financial success, is to take a customer focus. In other words, how should we behave so that customers are most friendly to us and want to deal with us and buy from us? So the customer perspective is taking a look at what a company has to do in order to secure the business and the loyalty of its customer base. Another perspective has to do with the internal processes that are in place at the business. In other words, is the business able to perform and working in the most effective and most streamlined way? In other words, what processes must the business be really good at, have to achieve in terms of performance, so that both shareholders and customers are going to be properly served. And the final perspective is called learning and growth. This is a bit more abstract, but it's connected to the idea of an organization being able to adopt a kind of culture which embraces flexibility and the ability to learn from mistakes, to build on those experiences that it has achieved institutionally, and to integrate those learning experiences in order to change and improve. We can look at this both at an organizational level and at an individual level. So the balanced scorecard's been around for a while, but it's one which is easy to apply and is a very integrative sort of model. And don't forget to link to the balanced scorecard the notion of critical success factors, which have also been discussed earlier, and identifying critical success factors that pertain to each of the four perspectives, and in addition, defining key performance indicators that will serve to measure whether those critical success factors are being achieved or not by the company. Let's take another model, the performance pyramid. This was developed by Lynch and Cross. It builds on the pyramidal structure of the business, but there's a lot of stuff happening here. We can see at the senior levels corporate vision, at the bottom level the operational, and then this great middle ground here of what basically is Anthony's hierarchy. Now this pyramid here is almost a microcosm of the whole business universe. It's actually quite interesting because it shows, for example, how objectives are defined by management based on the corporate vision, mission statement, and so on, and they flow downwards through the organization, while the measures by which we want to track business performance flow upwards from the operating levels to senior management. The pyramid is also carved up between internal and external aspect. Here's the external market, the external focus. This is market oriented. We want to serve the customer. We want to provide quality. We need to do all these things that are connected to critical success factors and so on. Of course, we are in business to make money, so at the end of the day, we want to be financially successful. This is almost an internal kind of motivation. And the financial success is going to be achieved by increasing productivity, streamlining processes, making them more effective, reducing waste, speeding up cycle times, and so on. So here we can say this is almost internal business processes that have to be excelled at each level of the organization. We can see here that this division of the world into external effectiveness and internal efficiency, both are two sides of the same coin in terms of summarizing all the things that a senior management have to look after and make sure is satisfied. Lynch and Cross provide a great model here in terms of almost summarizing many of the concepts that are covered in paper P5. If we move on to another model here, it's Fitzgerald and Moon, which addresses itself primarily to service companies. Now, Fitzgerald and Moon consists of three basic building blocks. One is dimensions. Dimensions refers to things that are measured, and the list here, profit, competitiveness, quality, resources, flexibility, and so on, this can be split up into two sub-elements. The profit and the competitiveness of the company can be seen as results of the efforts undertaken by the company. And the four items here, quality through innovation, can be seen as or regarded as determinants of successful results, okay? So just in general, think of the dimensions as being the things which are measured. The standards over here refer to the rules. Rules in the sense of those defining elements that the company considers to be important for achieving good performance. Now, the criteria for the standards here, there's a great emphasis here on making sure that people are properly motivated. There has to be a sense of ownership within the company of the standards. In other words, employees have to believe in and adopt those standards as being their own. They have to be realistic standards, so they have to be achievable so as to be motivating, and they have to be fair. We understand the word equity here in the sense of fairness. Finally, the third block here, the rewards, refers to the idea that the rewards that are accruing to or going to honor good performance, they have to be clear and motivating. And there's that word again we've seen oftentimes before in paper P5, controllability. In other words, employees have to have the assurance that the factors that they work with in their daily lives are controllable so they can influence the outcome towards ends which are consistent with the company's objectives, and that they will win rewards in the form of bonuses and other types of recognition, promotions, and so on, career advancement as a result of doing things right. Good. Let's look at the performance. Prism is yet another model which is starting with a stakeholder point of view. It's asking itself the question, okay, what do we expect from our stakeholders in terms of their contribution, commitment, and loyalty to the business? That's putting the stakeholder contribution here at the base of the prism. And at the top of the prism, the upper face looking upwards, is the stakeholder satisfaction. In other words, our goal is to achieve stakeholder satisfaction. So we could say that stakeholders at the beginning and the end of the process. Now, what's happening in between? Well, the three faces of the prism refer to strategies, processes, and capabilities, and these are the things that the company has to do along the way. So it's almost like a journey from the starting point, starting with the resources that stakeholders provide the company, to the outcome where the company wants to guarantee stakeholder satisfaction. And the way to do it, the route is traveled by having a strategy, a roadmap, how to get from the starting point to the ending point. having the processes in place necessary to implement the strategy, and also the capabilities, the skills have to exist in order to operate these processes. So these all hang together as being the essential elements by which the company operates successfully in moving from the beginning point to the destination. It's just another view of what a company exists for and how it sees its the fulfillment of its operations. Ansop's matrix is also mentioned in the syllabus. It is really review from earlier papers, and therefore merits no additional comments at this point. This is for review of the candidate, as well as the Boston Consulting Matrix, the BCG Matrix with its cash cows and dogs and stars and so on. This again is pure review, as is the celebrated structural analysis of industries, Porter's 5 forces. Keep in mind that Porter's 5 forces as a model can be used to determine how attractive an industry is. For example, if we go into the watchmaking industry, we can look at it from the standpoint of suppliers, customers, substitute products, and threats from substitution, as well as potential entrants. Or we can measure and consider the performance of our own company within the existing industry context. So we can look at this in 2 levels. One is a specific company performance in light of these forces, or come to some more general conclusions about the prospects for an industry at the industry level. Let's move ahead to one more Porter model, and that is the value chain. Again, this is hopefully of comfort to the candidate that these models are nothing new to the syllabus at this point. In P5 is a synthesizing kind of paper which brings together many of the concepts that have been introduced previously, and we have to work to synthesize and weave together these concepts into more senior management solutions to what effectively are mini case studies in the exam questions. This is a synthesizing. It's not an exercise in memorization, but it's applying these conceptual ideas to specific cases. So we have Porter's value chain, which is, I think, self-explanatory. There's a short explanation here in our summary notes in case somebody wants to remind themselves of the key elements of value chain analysis.